Hi, welcome to Planetary Penny's Astrology Overview for the month of August, and that will be followed by your sun signs. And if you go to the description box underneath the video, you can click onto the link that you want, and if you know your ascendant as well, that's really super helpful because it can really give you a much better idea about what to expect for the month ahead. But let's get on with the August overview. So we've got quite an interesting month because there is quite a lot of activity. There's a lot of retrogrades and changing of signs. So let's see what this all means. I mean, we kick off the month of August on the 3rd with a full moon in Aquarius. Now, what I want to say about this is we have to remember that Aquarius is very much about our higher mind, our kind of higher self, our aspirations, our thinking, our knowledge. It's also about technology and the internet. And so I think the full moon here in Aquarius, I think it's interesting that recently on the news we had that the Huawei has been major countries have backed off from having any deals with them. So some sort of culmination, and perhaps the full moon will herald in some ways an ending to a certain course of action. Now let's also look at the fact that the new moon is in Leo. So we're now changing the kind of balance. We've had a lot of Cancer, Capricorn over the last few months. We're now having a new moon in Leo on the 19th of August. And, I think this is going to be nice for the summer because it's the birthday month for Leos. And we've also got Mercury moving into Leo on the 6th. So there's going to be a lot more activity, perhaps a lot more passion in our communications and the way we sort of describe things and talk about things. Mars will still be direct in Aries all month, so watch your energy levels because Mars does kind of push us to our limits, so try and pace yourselves. And Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, all my big boys, they are still retrograde in Capricorn for the rest of the month and for quite a while to come. Now, interestingly, and this is the point I want to get to, Uranus, that is in Taurus, goes retrograde this month on the 15th of August. Now, I think this is really quite interesting because when I set the chart up for this particular, looking at the month ahead, so this is set up for the 1st of August at midnight, so it's like 31st into the 1st of August. So we get a Taurus ascendant. So this places Uranus, the planet of surprises, sudden change, unexpected developments, on the ascendant of this chart. Now, we've seen a lot of topsy-turvy roller coaster behavior in the world economy and in countries' economy. And I think this just emphasizes that with Uranus going retrograde, I suspect around that time, which is the 15th, we may see some more quite surprising activity in the markets. And, I think as countries are beginning to come out of lockdown and they're realizing that their economic state is perhaps is not recovering as well as they'd hoped. And and of course we know this affects us on a personal level. So it always hurts everybody in their pocket. So I think just be aware of your spending. And, Taurus likes to accrue, Taurus likes to save, Taurus likes to make sure that he's got, enough savings. So I think a little bit of a Taurian attitude around our finances will go a long way this month. Now, we've still got all the big boys in Capricorn, and what I find so interesting is for this chart, we've also got the moon in Capricorn. So they're all bunched up there, ranging between the moon at 5 degrees going up to Saturn at 27 degrees. And remember, they're all retrograde, obviously apart from the moon, because the moon never goes retrograde. Now, it's in the 9th house of this chart, and that's about travel and learning. And I just feel that even though countries are opening up and we're having a lot more, sort of possibilities of travelling to other countries, that there are still going to be restrictions, cancellations. People are going to get pretty fed up. Just when they thought they were having their summer holiday, it isn't happening. So I'm going to go on and do the individual charts now, because I think a lot more will come out when we look at each sign through the next 12 zodiac signs. So thank you very much for watching this part of the video. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be super happy if you could. It would be really, really, really cool. Thanks. And also, if you want to visit my website because you would fancy a astrology reading with me, or if you would like to have a life coaching session, my website is in the description box underneath. It'll tell you everything you need to know, all about me, who I am, where I've come from, and it would be really nice to meet you and work with you. Okay, thanks for watching this part of the video. Have a great August. Bye for now. Hey Aries, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Aries or for the Ascendant in Aries. Let's start with the full moon on the 3rd of August in your 11th house of Aquarius. This is hopes and dreams and wishes, amongst other things. And I just have a feeling that something you've been hoping for, something you've been wishing for, is going to manifest. You're going to see, you're going to feel a big kind of like, wow, okay, so this is happening, this is going to happen. And I think that's going to be super cool for you, Aries, because it's bringing in also the energy of the 5th house, where the Sun, of course, is in Leo, and the 5th house is about creativity, and it's about children. It's also about romantic relationships. You know, maybe if there's something or someone you've been hoping to bring into your life in a bigger way, maybe that's going to manifest. And also, it could be something completely different, because it could be new romance, because we have a new moon in your 5th house in Leo on the 19th. And not only that, but Mercury will be in your 5th house, having been retrograde through your 4th house. It's now moving direct again, and it actually moves into your 5th house from the 6th of August. And you know, there's going to be a lot of communication, I think, between the 6th and the 21st of August. It's going to be a particularly busy time for communication with friends and romance and you know, maybe, as I say, this new relationship that comes in, or a change in an ongoing relationship where it ramps up to the next level. And also, because on the 21st, Mercury, having whizzed through your 5th house, is going to go into your 6th house, which is the house of work. And it looks like the second half of August are going to be much more about work-related and looking at, you know, things that you've got to sort out with work, and things perhaps with health, maybe making doctor's appointments, that nature of things. And so most of August, I think, is going to be more on a kind of lovely, loving and romantic level. And I think you're going to be feeling quite passionate about one particular person, because with Mars, your ruler, in your 1st house, and he's in opposition to our lovely asteroid Juno in your 7th house of significant relationships. And even though it's an opposition, it could mean, it could either mean that something has got to kind of move forward, or that's it. It could be like a make or break time for a particular significant relationship. And with Uranus, of course, going through your second house of finance and accruement and property. And Uranus, just for you to know, is going retrograde on the 15th. And remember, you've got Uranus in Taurus for the next few years. And I think this is going to bring quite a roller coaster to your financial situation. So a word of caution, Aries. Because you've got Mars in your first house, you may be a little bit kind of over enthusiastic at times about initiating projects. And Uranus in your second house, I think, is just a reminder that you need to be a little bit careful and keep an eye on those finances, because if you look at what's been happening in the world in general with the world economy since Uranus moved into Taurus, it's been very up and down and very shaky. So just bear that in mind, Aries, that it doesn't cause you any undue concern or worry, because on the 15th, when it goes retrograde, I think back to what was going on for you financially, probably during the beginning, sort of, January, February, March. Just have a think about what was happening for you financially at that point. And then I'm going to finish with talking about Venus, that has been in your fourth house of communication, of learning, of short distance travel, of neighbours, etc. And that's been, I think it's seen you quite busy and communicating more, whilst Venus has actually been in your third house. And she is going to move into your fourth house, into Cancer, from the 8th of August. And I think you're going to be spending more time making your home beautiful, maybe even doing some decorating or some sort of just creative projects within the home that just make it, I think you're going to want to be at home more. And it's almost like a little bit of nesting for you, Aries. But in general, and before we finish, I must mention, of course, that we do still have the big boys, Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter retrograde in your 10th house of work. And they are going to be creating, I think, at the moment, a bit of a conflict between work and home life. And it's just to be mindful of that, Aries. But all in all, I think it's going to be a better month all round for most of the signs. And there is some light relief this month for you. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for being here. And also, if you would like to sign up to my YouTube channel, if you haven't already, that would be super kind of you. And if you would also like a one-to-one for astrology or for life coaching, please check out my website, which you can link to in the description box beneath this video. Thank you, Aries. Bye for now. Hey, Taurus. Welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Taurus or for the Ascendant in Taurus. I'm going to start with looking at your 9th house, where we have the big boys, because as you know, they are all now retrograde again in your 9th house of travel, higher learning, journeys of the soul, of the mind, or outer journeys. Now, outer journeys or external physical journeys have not been so easy for any of us this year, have they, Taurus? And with both Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter all retrograde in your 9th house, and they will have been pulling in the inner energy of the 3rd house, which is Cancer. And the 3rd house is about, again, it's more local travel and short distance journeys. And I feel that because Mercury starts the month more or less opposite Jupiter and Pluto, in opposition to Jupiter and Pluto, I think you'll be delving more deeply into a subject that is dear to your heart, to try to really understand it better. And once Mercury actually leaves your 3rd house and goes into your 4th house of home on the 6th of August, I think you'll feel, yeah, that's good. I've learned something there. I feel I can move forward now. Now, we also have to look at the fact that we have got the 10th and the 4th house quite heavily accented this month because we have a full moon on the 3rd of August in Aquarius in your 10th house of career and achievement and of your public profile. And I think the full moon is going to show that whatever you've been sort of laying in place and working on over the last few months, even years, you're going to finally feel that you've actually achieved something and completed one part of this particular career journey. And because it brings in the energy of the 4th house, where we have the sun in Leo, and the 4th house is the home, I think you'll probably want to take some time off, actually, Taurus, and have a bit of a rest and a holiday. And it's a perfect time to do it. It's August. So give yourself that holiday. You're going to have Mercury from the 6th in your 4th house of Leo, and he's only going to be there till the 21st, and he's going to move into Virgo, into your 5th house of children, creativity, and romantic relationships. But whilst it's in your 4th house, you might find you get quite a lot of visitors and some nice just nice things going on, maybe some parties at home, or but it just feels very summery and quite fun. And of course we've got the new moon in your 4th house on the 19th of August, and so this feels like new beginnings for you at home, maybe feeling that you want to make some changes at home and new things. I mean, some of you might even be considering moving, and working with the new moon energy will be a good time to look at that or start sort of doing your research. But let's also look at Uranus in your 1st house, because Uranus in your 1st house is the 1st house is about the ego, the self. It's who you are. And because Taurus is quite fixed, because it's a fixed sign, and quite stubborn, having Uranus in your 1st house, in your sign, and bearing in mind you've got Uranus there for quite a long time to come, I think you are going to surprise people. I think you are going to be, it feels like quite distinct, profound changes with how people see you. And Uranus is actually going to be starting a retrograde phase from the 15th in Taurus. And so maybe ideas you've had earlier in the year about how you would like to change yourself. And, because Taurus doesn't particularly like change, Taurus is not fond of change, for you to be considering, say, dyeing your hair purple or whatever it is going to really shock people. But there is that kind of energy around for Taurus. Just watch your inner world energies with Mars in Aries in your 12th house of kind of the inner workings of the mind and the psyche and the soul, because Mars is going to be there till the end of the year, and I just feel the energy that Mars brings. I'm sure there will be eureka moments as you sort of profoundly begin to understand things or different things about yourself. But I just feel you need to pace yourself and don't put yourself under too much pressure, Taurus. Don't force yourself to grow before you're ready, because Taurus usually takes its time, and actually that's important, because we can't get where we're going until we actually know where we are going. So on that note, I'm going to leave you for this month, Taurus. I wish you a lovely month. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would be super pleased if you could do that. And if you would like a one-to-one session with me for astrology or life coaching or both, then please click on the link for my website in the window underneath this video, and you can get in touch with me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Hey Gemini, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Gemini or for the ascendant in Gemini. So we have a full moon on the 3rd of August in your 9th house of travel and higher learning, and that's in Aquarius. Now, I feel that this full moon for you is perhaps telling us that you have been doing some research and perhaps expanding your knowledge and understanding, and that's coming to some kind of sort of fruition or completion, because full moons, as much as they bring endings, they also, I think, can sort of bear fruit. They bring results. So something comes to some kind of conclusion. So it's pulling in, of course, the energy of your 3rd house, which is Leo, and the sun is now in Leo, and so it's also about communication, quick thinking. Remember, you're Mercurial Gemini. You're ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is, all about communication and being sort of quite quick-witted and sharp. And the 3rd house is about thinking, thought. It's about, it can also be about documents and papers and communication. So these are the areas of your life that are going to be most focused on this month, with the full moon in the 9th and the new moon on the 19th in your 3rd house. So, and then of course Mercury, who is your ruler, is going to join them in the 3rd house on the, Mercury goes in there on the 6th. So Mercury is going to be in Leo, in your 3rd house from the 6th to the 21st. So that is an optimum time for you to really tweak the stuff that needs tweaking, to complete anything you've been working on in terms of sort of writing, papers, teaching, learning. So it's a good time to complete those things, and fresh opportunities with this new moon on the 19th. Now, on the 21st, Mercury will have whizzed through Leo in your 3rd house and will go into Virgo in your 4th house. So you're going to see the attention more turning then to your home life and what's going on at home. And maybe, because it is August, spending a bit more time at home and talking with family, because with everyone having to have been very sort of remote and distant from each other during the last few months, I think Mercury there means there'll be a lot of catching up with friends and family at home. And August in general is going to be, I think, a bit of a lighter month all round. But we can't forget that we still have the emphasis on your 8th and 2nd house, with my big boys up there in your 8th. And the 8th house of Capricorn for you is about investment. It's about other people's money. It could be about inheritance or property or sort of completing on something, but it's money that comes to you. And so, or it can be institutions like banks and things that look after your money. And with Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter all retrograde there in Capricorn, I think this is going to be a sort of final chance to go over the details of any transactions you may have been doing with property, and any business transactions, investments, maybe with the state of the world economy. You've been thinking of just restructuring your finance, and because it brings in the energy of the 2nd house, which is Cancer, and which is the house of finance and accruement and property and possessions. So you've had Mercury there going retrograde, so in the 2nd house. So you probably had to go back over certain things to get them kind of finally sorted. And thankfully, with Mercury's forward direction, that can now be left alone. And you see, because remember, both Saturn and Jupiter are going to be leaving Capricorn and your 8th house for good at the end of the year when they meet up in December. And they'll be going into your 9th house of travel and higher learning, which I think is going to shift the emphasis on your life quite considerably. So let's just have a look at what else is going on for you Gemini, because I'm looking actually at your 11th house of hopes and wishes, and you've got Mars, of course, in Aries going through that house for quite a long time, until the end of the year. So I think there's going to be much more energetic sort of activities with outside groups and meeting people, and with Uranus also in your 12th house, there's still this inner reflection, and you surprising perhaps even yourself with ideas that you come up with. So all in all, Gemini, I would say it's going to be an interesting month. It's going to be, I think, lighter and brighter, and we'll see what the rest of the year brings when I come back to you in September. So, but for now, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be super pleased if you could. And also, if you would like a one-to-one for astrology, or for life coaching, or for both, then please get in touch with me. My website address is in the little window at the bottom of this video, and it would be really nice to meet you and help you in any way I can. Okay, thanks a lot, Gemini. Take care. Bye for now. Hey, Cancer. Welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Cancer or for the Ascendant in Cancer. So, on the 3rd of August, we have a full moon in Aquarius in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is about transformation. It's about other people's money. It can be inheritance, and it's a full moon. Now, I don't know what area of your life is accented at the moment. That's determined by your natal chart and where your own personal ascendant is, Cancer. And so it does mean, though, a full moon, that something is coming to some kind of completion. So I'll leave you to work out what that may be. But it does put in the energy of the 2nd house, because it's a full moon and the Sun is in Leo. And the 2nd house is about finance and accruement and possessions, property, this kind of thing. And so I think it's just that area is kind of, you know, it may be that you want to realize some capital, so you're planning on selling something. Now, also we have a new moon in this 2nd house on the 19th of August. So a new moon in Leo in your 2nd house. So there's also new opportunities and new beginnings coming for you around finance. And that can't be anything but cool, eh? And also it's joined by Mercury, that has been going through your 1st house of who you are, yourself, your ego. Mercury in Cancer has been going retrograde as well, and it is now thankfully direct. And I think we all had a little bit of a choppy ride with that one. And so Cancer is going to move in, Mercury in Cancer is going to move into Leo on the 6th of August. And so this is going to speed anything up around finance and around possessions that maybe you've been trying to sell something. So you're successful, especially with that new moon there. Maybe it's a time to actually sort of gather together some possessions or property and just sort of think, you know, what do I want to sell, and make some money. But do it between the 6th and the 21st, because on the 21st, Mercury will have whizzed through your 2nd house and be in your 3rd house of Virgo, and thinking and thought and communication. And then that's where the emphasis will shift to, but more about that in September. But we can't not look at the big boys, my big boys, Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter, still in your 7th house of significant relationships. Now, we know for you, Cancer, that the last 2 or 3 years have really been quite challenging in many ways. I think you know, your health has been affected, because it brings in the energy of your 1st house, and there is this interesting little asteroid that's been sitting there for a while, which is called Hygeia, and Hygeia is about health. And so if there's been stresses and strains in personal relationships, and let's face it, with what we've all had to go through this year in the world, it's put extra stress on even the best relationships. But thankfully, Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter, even though they're retrograde, both Jupiter and Saturn will go direct again in a little while, and they will, by the end of the year, be out of your 7th house and into your 8th house of Aquarius. And so it's just going to shift the energy, but more about what that means later. But in the meantime, let's also look at the fact that you've had Venus, the lovely Venus, who has been transiting your 12th house and helping you do a little bit of inner reflection and work on yourself. And she is moving from Gemini into your 1st house, and she's actually moving in on the 8th, which is fantastic. So you're actually going to be feeling much better about yourself, Cancer. I think you're going to be feeling kind of like more attractive, and you won't be looking in the mirror and going, oh God, oh, is that really me? And this will be feeling, hey, yeah, not bad, looking a bit better. So that'll be nice for you, Cancer, to have Venus there. And you've still got Uranus, of course, transiting for a long time, your 11th house of hopes and wishes. So I'd be careful what you wish for, because some of them will come true in unexpected ways and some of them won't. But nevertheless, it could be interesting. So anyway, on that note, Cancer, because I know you're delicate little souls, and you do need nurturing, and I think it's really important that you give yourself the love and support and care that perhaps sometimes others can't give you. And I want to wish you well for the month of August. I want to say thank you so much for joining me to watch this video. And if you've not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be super thrilled if you could do that. And also, if you would like to have a one-to-one with me for astrology or for life coaching, then you can click on the website link underneath this video, and you can find out all about me and how to contact me. And it, excuse me, it would be really super nice to see you. Okay, thanks, Cancer. Until next time, bye for now. Bye. Hey, Leo, welcome to your August astrology, and happy birthday, Leo. This is for the Sun in Leo or for the Ascendant in Leo. So let's see what's going on for you this month. Well, the Sun, of course, is bringing her beautiful light into your 1st house. So I think you will be radiant and charming this month, Leo. And Mercury actually comes up to join the Sun later in the month. So you'll have Mercury in Cancer, and he will be kind of working his magic with how you talk about yourself and how you talk about things and how you communicate with others. I think you'll be quite eloquent this month, Leo. So let's just look a little bit at what the moon is doing this month, because on the 3rd, we have a full moon in your 7th house of significant relationships, and it's Aquarius. And so the full moon in your 7th house. Now, this is about relationships, and I think you have to think about what a full moon means, because it's very much about completion, culmination, something coming to fruition. So it may be that there is a relationship in your life that you are wanting to take on to the next level. So that could be one thing that the full moon is about for you. But also, if there's a relationship with someone that seems to have run its course, then it may be that you have to actually agree to let each other go and follow your own paths to wherever that leads you. And remember that Aquarius is very much about a sign. It's about kind of remote distance. It's its ruling planet is Uranus, and you know, maybe you have relationships with people who are somewhat removed from you at a distance. It could be that you have online relationship that is very significant. And the full moon will be shedding light on that too. But let's move on also to the new moon, which is going to be in your first house, Leo. And that's on the 19th of August. And so I think with Mercury there, the sun there, and a new moon, it's giving you a chance to really sort of come out into the sort of the limelight again, which of course is very much where you like to be, Leo. And so I think we're going to see you center stage. We're going to see you initiating new projects and, you know, just feeling really quite happy about stuff. Now, we also need to look at Mars that is transiting your 9th house, Aries. Now, the 9th house, I think for you in this case is about travel, because you've been locked down for too long, haven't you, Leo? And you really want to get out there and explore. And Mars in your 9th house for the next 6 months is hopefully going to give you those opportunities. And I think they will be action-packed trips. No sitting quietly in a retreat somewhere thinking about, you know, contemplating your navel. I don't think that's what's going to happen. No, you want to be out there, you know, getting fit, because, you know, you have been locked in for a long time. And as much as Aquarius, your 7th house, likes to keep a little bit of remoteness and distance, Leo itself really likes to be with people, because people are your audience. And there's nothing wrong in that, Leo. It's just, you know, I think people love you for who you are, Leo. And let's also look at Uranus in Taurus, because Uranus in Taurus in your 10th house of career and profession and sort of public status in the world is going to be moving retrograde. And it's moving retrograde, just let me check, it's moving retrograde on the 15th in Taurus. And I think if you think back to what you were doing in, say, February and March of this year, and maybe what you were initiating work-wise, I think you're going to see some more results, perhaps coming in unexpected ways, putting you out there in the public sphere. And it could come as quite a surprise to you. And I think this retrograde phase of Uranus is going to mean all those things. I also think, Leo, that you do need to also be mindful with Uranus in Taurus of watching your accounts and not splurging and not kind of doing erratic things with your finances. But other than that, I think for you, Leo, you are going to have a really nice month, and it's going to be a lot happier, a lot brighter. We still must, though, just before I finish your sign, look at the big boys in your 6th house. We've got Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter all retrograde. Now they're asking you to tweak the small stuff. They're asking you one last time if you could make sure that you have attended to your health, to any niggly health issues that need to be sorted, that you do all of those things. So, Leo, let's leave it there for this month. And thank you so much for coming to look at this video for August. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd really be super pleased if you could do that. And also, if you would like a one-to-one with me for astrology or life coaching, my website address is in the box underneath this video. And I'd love to see you. And I'd love to have a session with you. And you'll find out all the information on the website and how to contact me. In the meantime, wishing you a great August and a happy birthday month. And I'll see you next time, Leo. Bye for now. Hey Virgo, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Virgo or for the Ascendant in Virgo. Well, let's start straight away with the full moon on the 3rd of August in your 6th house, which is Aquarius. Now the 6th house is about health, pets, it can be service to others, it's also everyday work. And for you, I think this full moon is seeing you tying up some loose ends with sort of day-to-day jobs, maybe things that have been a bit tedious and dragging on. And I think you're going to get those kind of really sorted now this month with this full moon. I think also if you've had any niggling health issues, the full moon will help you to actually understand what they're about. And so I think light will be shed on that too. But it's nothing too serious. If we look to the 12th house, which is opposite your 6th house of Aquarius, we do have Mercury moving into your 12th house on the 6th of August. And I think for me, what this tells me is you are going to be doing a little bit of inner reflection and maybe having a bit of a chat with yourself, a bit of self-help therapy to you, so that you can kind of, it feels like you've perhaps got a bit frustrated with yourself and you want to kickstart yourself and just get some action into your life. And, you know, we always need to start from within. So, and let's look forward as well to the fact that we have the new moon on the 19th, and that's going to be in Leo in your 12th house. Now, because you're going to have Mercury and the Sun there, I think that if you are doing some sort of, if you're in therapy or some kind of counselling at the moment, I think you're going to have some aha moments and some real kind of feelings of recognition and understanding, and as if you can really get a sense of how you're developing, and maybe what you've learned through the last few months that we've all been sort of, you know, put into this situation where we've had no choice but to really go within and find out what we're made of. And then I want to look ahead also, Virgo, to Uranus, because Uranus is transiting your 9th house of Taurus. And Uranus is very much about it's unexpected things, it's innovative ideas, and this will be around higher learning, also travel. Now, the fact that Uranus is going retrograde on the 15th of August, I wonder if you're going to be going back to looking into some kind of course or learning. Maybe you're going to be teaching something online, maybe you're going to be learning something online, something that is very dear to your heart and that you're quite passionate about and that you really, really would like to understand better. So, and I think if it's with regards to travel, then I suspect you'll probably just think, oh, I'm just going to pack my bags and go. And so you could be surprising people by just upping and going off because you've just had enough of being restricted as well. So we need to also look at our big boys who are in your 5th house. And Saturn, of course, has gone retrograde back into your 5th house, out of Aquarius and into Capricorn. Now, the 5th house is about creativity. It's also about children. And it's also a sort of, it's about projects and, you know, launching things. And I think because it's even though it's Capricorn in your chart, it's a Leo ruled house. So it's very much about you wanting to put together the final touches on some project that you've been working on. And I feel that with Saturn back here for the next few months, until the end of the year in December, when Saturn will finally move back into Aquarius. Now, if you've laid all the groundwork over the last few years of Saturn transiting Capricorn, then you will start to see the fruits of your labours round about December and into January 2021. So just remember that with these big boys retrograde in your 5th house, you can go back and dot the I's and cross the T's. So use it constructively. Come on, Virgo, you're so good at giving everything really close attention. close detail. Yes, it can be laborious, but isn't it worth it in the end? So, okay, and remember you've got Mars in Aries going through your 8th house of endings, beginnings, enlightenment, profound kind of understanding, so, transformation. So you may also be getting some sort of inner revelations about all sorts of things. And how super exciting is that, Virgo? So for now, I want to say thank you so much for joining me for this look at the month of August for you. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be really, really super happy if you could do that. And if you would like to have a one-to-one for either astrology or for life coaching, please go to my website. It's in the description box underneath this video, and you'll find out all about me, who I am, how I got here, and what it's all about. Okay, Virgo, listen, thank you so much for joining me, and I really wish you a really lovely month ahead. Thank you. Bye. Hey, Libra, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Libra or for the Ascendant in Libra. So let's see what's going on for you this month. Well, the first thing I thought when I looked at your chart is that you're kind of having this inner battle between the outer world and your inner world. It's like the planets are trying to pull you back down, especially the big boys, Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter, all retrograde in your 4th house in the sort of the lower part of your chart. And I think that's really interesting because you just want to be out there. You don't want to have to look within. It's too challenging, and it's, if you've been locked down for months now and you just don't want to go within, you want to get out there. And but I think there's still going to be a little bit of a battle because there are going to be things going on at home within your sort of your living conditions, wherever your home is. And they are issues that have got to be addressed. And it's like you're being restricted to home, whether you like it or not, even though you would like to be off and traveling and doing all sorts of exciting things, Libra. So, but let's look at some of the more sort of finer details of what's happening this month. Because we have a full moon on the 3rd of August, and that's going to be in your 5th house. And that's creativity, creative projects, it can be children. And I think for you, it feels like, in spite of all these restrictions keeping you at home, your children might be kind of being a source of delight to you. Now, how super cool is that? That makes a change when they've been locked down with you for the last God knows how long. So, but I think also the full moon for you is, it can also be about romantic affairs and love affairs. And if you're involved in some kind of love affair, it may be that it's going to be moving on to the next level. Maybe it's going to be moving into your 7th house, which is significant others. So maybe there's someone in your life, Libra, who is going to become a very much permanent, significant other, even if they've been in your life for some time and you haven't actually sort of signed and sealed the deal, if you like. So we then need to look ahead to, we've got Mercury is going to be in Leo, where the Sun is currently, and that's in your 11th house. So Mercury is moving, it's out of its retrograde phase. Thank goodness for that, Libra, because it was quite challenging, this particular retrograde, for all of us. So Mercury is going to be going into your 11th house of larger groups, friends, and I think, you are going to find that you're in a situation where, even if you are a bit restricted to home, you're able to get out and about a bit more and have more to do with close friends and just basically have some fun and have a lot to catch up on with Mercury there. And then we need to look ahead to, we've got Mercury also, interestingly, moves into Virgo on the 21st. So it's going to whiz through Leo, and then it's going to be in your 12th house. And I think by then you're going to be perhaps a little bit exhausted by all the partying that I just get a sense you may be doing in August, and you're just going to have some time for inner reflection. But we must look at the new moon, which is happening on the 19th in Leo, and this also is your 11th house. So I think maybe your situation through this lockdown, you've made some new friends as well, and maybe they've been internet friends, maybe they've been, you know, you've been sort of online chatting with people, and you'll actually get to meet these guys. And even if they were perhaps only acquaintances in the past, you've become firmer friends. And so I think there's going to be sort of more of that going on. And then we need to look at Taurus, because we have Uranus is in your 8th house of profound transformation. And it's going to be going retrograde, and it's going retrograde from the 15th. And I think if there's anything that you're actually waiting for to do with other people's money, or money that is owed to you, maybe it's some repayments from airlines or something, but there's something about, you know, something coming back to you, or you know, and a surprise, because perhaps something you were not expecting actually manifests. And then the last thing we need to look at really is that Mars, as I said, is direct all month in your 7th house. Now, this is Aries. Now, for your significant relationships, and if there is a significant other in your life, then this is really super exciting for the next 6 months, to be quite frank, because I think you're going to be doing lots of interesting, exciting things together. And I think there's going to be quite a sort of a sense of passion igniting in both of you. And because it is actually, you've got Juno, the asteroid of relationships, is in Libra in your 1st house. And even though it's in opposition to everything in your 7th house, I actually feel this is just emphasizing that it's about relationships for you. So I think there's a lot about relationships for you this month, Libra. And all in all, I think it's going to be a much brighter month and a much happier month for you, Libra. So thank you so much for joining me for your August astrology. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be really super happy if you could do that. That would be fantastic. Thank you. And also, if you would like to have a personal one-to-one astrology or life coaching session with me, then please get in touch with me via my website, and that's in the description box underneath this video. So thank you again for joining me, and I wish you a really super month. Thank you, Libra. Bye for now. Hey, Scorpio. Well, here we are with August. So this is for the Sun in Scorpio, or for the Ascendant in Scorpio. So let's start with the full moon, which is on the 3rd of August, and that's going to be in your 4th house. And this is the house of home. This is your home base. This is your ancestors. It's mother. And it's Aquarius for you. So it's the full moon in Aquarius in your 4th house. Now, what does this all mean? Well, it's about completion, a full moon. It's about shining the light on home life matters. It's about, it could just be about the changes that are having much more effect on you, perhaps, with your living conditions than maybe some of the other signs due to the lockdown that we've all been through. So I think go with the flow with that one. If it's about moving house, if it's about just changing things around in your house, then just allow that to unfold. Now, we need to also look at what is going on in Leo, because Leo is where the sun is at the moment, and it's in your 10th house of career, and you're standing in the world and how you're seen by the public. So the sun there means, I think, that the sun is going to be shining on you, Scorpio. You are going to be a little bit more out there in the sort of public glare. And with Mercury going into Leo during the month of August, we are going to see you being far more kind of able to walk your talk and talk your walk, because you're going to have quite a lot to say about your work life, and maybe you're in a job where being seen and being public is quite important. So I think your words are going to be taken far more seriously. And we also need to look at the rest of the activity in your 10th house, because we do have a new moon here in Leo on the, and just let me check, it's on the 19th of August, and that's in your 10th house. So you're going to get some really lovely opportunities to launch projects, to really kind of kickstart your career. You know, if it's been kind of marking time for the last few months, I think the new moon will bring a real sort of breath of fresh air into your life, your working life, and it will help you move forward. But what else is happening? Well, we do have, remember, Mars is transiting your 6th house of Aries, and it's going to be there for 6 months. Now, the reason why I will probably keep going on about it over the next few months for you, Scorpio, is that I think you just have to be mindful of your health, especially your physical health in terms of muscles, tendons, you know, all these kind of things that can be strained or stretched, because Mars is giving you the energy to really sort of do amazing workouts and, you know, walk up 20 flights of stairs. And that's great, Scorpio, but pace yourself a bit. Just find a little bit of Saturn, which is probably a little bit difficult for you, but try and sort of use some Saturn energy to just kind of give yourself a bit of structure and slow yourself down a bit. And we also need to look at the fact that we have Uranus in your 7th house of significant others. Now, this is interesting because, of course, you've had this going on for some time now, Scorpio, and it is going to be there for a while, well, for quite a few years, actually. It's something like 2024 or 25, I can't remember, I'll have to look it up. But anyway, because Uranus is going to go retrograde this month, I think you might find some unexpected people from the past pop up to connect with you. And maybe a relationship that you thought was, you know, wasn't a significant relationship and you thought was over, could actually come back in quite a surprising way. And I think you need to sort of just be mindful of what's going on with your, just in general, your relationship department. And because I think partners are going to be a little bit unpredictable and not normally what you expect from partners, okay? So before I go, I just want to talk a little bit about the big boys down in your 3rd house, where they're helping you finally sort out any last bits of paperwork to do with important documents. You know, it could be anything to do with investments, it could be something to do with legal stuff like power of attorneys, wills, things like that, but anything where you need to actually make sure you've done it correctly, because Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter retrograde are giving you that opportunity to really make sure that you get that straight this time. So for now, Scorpio, I wish you a lovely month of August, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I'd really be super pleased if you could do that. Thank you so much. And also, if you'd like to have a one-to-one astrology session with me or a one-to-one life coaching session, then my website is in the description box underneath this video. And that'll take you to my website and how to connect with me, who I am, where I'm from, and it would be really nice to connect with you. So thank you so much, Scorpio, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Hey, Sagittarius, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Sagittarius or the Ascendant in Sagittarius. So let's see, what have we got going on for you this month? Well, let's start with the full moon on the 3rd of August. It's going to be in your 3rd house. And I think this is going to be good because I think if you've been trying to sort some legal stuff out, contracts, things of that nature, the full moon is showing completion. It's showing that finally things are being sorted out and moving forward. And on any project you have which is to do with maybe sort of teaching or learning and communication, you will find that you've reached a point where you can feel that you've achieved something to do with this particular subject that we're talking about. Now, let's also look at what's been going on actually in your 8th house, because Mercury's been retrograde there, and Mercury's now moving direct in Cancer, and Mercury's actually going to move into your 9th house, which is a Leo house, and the Sun is there as well. And this is about travel, this is about expansion, this is about higher thinking and sort of far thinking, sort of really kind of, energetic thinking. And because you've got the big boys in your 2nd house of Capricorn, which is all about finance and accruement and property, and they're going retrograde, with Mercury retrograde in your 8th opposing that, you may have had some hold-ups with sorting contracts out or sorting things to do with sort of joint investments, other people's money. But once Mercury moved forward, and that was in July, and it's now moving into Leo, into your 9th house, then you're really going to see things moving forward with that. So that's fantastic for you, Sagittarius. And that full moon, and then of course we've got the new moon in Leo, also on the 19th of August. And so you've had this full moon in your 3rd house with papers and documents, and the new moon in the 9th house of travel. It's like something setting you free. It's like you've really needed to sort of take flight. And maybe you will literally take flight. Maybe you will fly somewhere and finally get that, holiday abroad or trip to see relatives or whatever it is that has been denied you for the first 6 months of this year. Let's see though what else is going on. So we've also got Mars in Aries for 6 months in your 5th house. Now this can be very exciting for projects and really getting things off the ground and really feeling very energized about things that you feel passionately about, projects that you're doing, creative projects, perhaps you sing or dance or paint or act, but there could be a lot of activity in those kind of areas. And also it's really good for romance and for relationships, and it's just like you're going to be busy. And what I want to say though is because you've got Uranus going through your 6th house, which is a Taurus house for you. Now, Uranus is going to go retrograde on and I keep forgetting when it is, it's going retrograde on the 15th. And it's going to be going retrograde for quite a while. And because your 6th house is about health, it's about everyday work, it's about service to others. Now, Taurus is also about money and accruement and property. And if you've had any of these areas that have been sort of active for you in the last few months, I think you need to think back to what was actually going on round about, let's say the beginning of the year, January, February, March, because I think with Uranus going retrograde in this house, it's going to give you another chance to revisit certain things. There could be some unexpected results or just unexpected events around things you thought had been set in stone or set in place a few months ago, and they just get turned upside down in the air. Now, only you can know what that means for you. But I do want to add that the part of fortune is also in your 6th house at this time. And the part of fortune is a lovely Arabic part, which brings, as it is called, good fortune. So I don't think it'll be anything too terrible. You know, if something went wrong, maybe it's actually what needed to go wrong, because it sets you on the path to what will go right. And just to finish your look at August astrology, Sagittarius, we must remember that these big boys are going retrograde in your 2nd house of finance and accruement and property. And Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter are giving you almost like that this is the final chance to really dot the I's and cross the T's with setting structure in place to do with your finance. And it may be a property deal, it may be something that you just want to put it to bed once and for all. And I would say with everything that is indicated for me in this chart, there's every good chance that that will all sort itself out. So Sagittarius, I wish you a lovely August, and thank you so much for joining me on this video. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be super pleased if you could. And if you would like a one-to-one session with me for astrology or for life coaching, my website address is in the description box underneath this video. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. See you next time. Bye. Hey, Capricorn. Welcome to your August astrology for Sun in Capricorn of the Ascendant in Capricorn. Well, let's kick off the month with the 3rd of August, when we have a full moon in Aquarius in your 2nd house of finance, property, accruement. And this, I feel for you, is going to bring to completion projects you've been working on, perhaps with regards to property or investments. And remember, it will be pulling in the energy of the 8th house, which is Leo, and that means that it could be to do with other people's money as well, and investments and this kind of thing. And because we have a new moon in Leo on the 19th in your 8th house, which is about investments, other people's money, it can be inheritance, it can be all kinds of things, also areas of your life which need to transform and need to change. And I think this new moon for you in the 8th house of Leo is really going to be like a breath of fresh air for you, Capricorn. You know, we know you've been through the mill because we've had all the big boys in your 1st house, and they're still there, and they're all retrograde now. And so we've got Jupiter there, Pluto there, Saturn there. And this has been hugely hard work. But I think also ultimately you will see, Capricorn, because you are such a stoic sign, you will see actually that it will be hugely rewarding in the long run, because Capricorn always ultimately succeeds. If they don't, they will, I think, suffer greatly on some level, on an emotional level. But you are good at climbing to the top of the mountain. This is in overall, when I look at this month for you, it's still quite a challenging month, and a lot of what is going on for you is in the lower hemisphere of the chart. So this is like what's going on inside. It's how you're changing. It's how you are transforming. I really feel, Capricorn, that you have the opportunity at the moment to transform and change yourself into the person that you've always aspired to be, but has perhaps always eluded you. And we have to bring in the energy of what's going on in your 7th house, because in a sense we've just got Mercury and the Sun in this upper hemisphere of your chart. And Mercury was retrograde in July, and I think we all felt the effects of that in various ways. But now it's direct in Cancer, in your 7th house. So I think any issues that came up for you last month of July around significant relationships where perhaps people pop back into your life that you didn't expect, I think this will shift now, and because the emphasis is actually going to, I think, move away for you for the short term on relationships, and it's going to focus more on your 2nd and 8th house of Aquarius and Leo, which is very much more about property, money and investment. So that's going to be the theme for you in August. And we have to look at what's going on in your 5th house, because the 5th house has Uranus in Taurus, and you're going to have Uranus in your 5th house for quite a few years. And this could be super exciting for you for new and different, unusual, kind of unexpected relationships, meeting people that really kind of, I think they'll light your fire, Capricorn. And we have to remember that Uranus is actually going retrograde on the 15th in Taurus. And so I think that it's also, there are any creative projects that you've not yet put into motion. Perhaps you're going to have a chance while Uranus does this retrograde phase to actually sort of look at some of the more creative things you can do in your life. And that will also give a nice balance for you, Capricorn, and just bring in a little bit more lightness to your life. And finally, before I finish your reading for August, we need to look at Mars in Aries in your 4th house, because again, the 4th house being home, Aries is very, well, it's a cardinal sign, so it wants to move, it wants to go, it wants to just get things shifted. And you may find that whilst Mars moves through your 4th house, and he is going to be there for 6 months, that you do a lot of changes at home. You may even move house, but I do feel there will be a lot of energy devoted to the home, and in that sense to the family. So all in all, Capricorn, I think you've got quite a karmic month ahead, and that feels quite good. So I wish you well. Thank you so much for joining me for your August video. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be really super pleased if you could do that. And also, if you would like a one-to-one session with me for astrology or life coaching, if you go to my website address, which is in the window under this video, it tells you how to get hold of me and how we can meet up. So thank you again, Capricorn, and I wish you a really lovely August. Bye for now. Hey, Aquarius. Welcome to your August astrology for Sun in Aquarius or for the Ascendant in Aquarius. Let's start the month on the 3rd with this beautiful, glorious full moon in Aquarius in your 1st house. It's like you've been in the shadows for a while, Aquarius. You've been in isolation, and the full moon is bringing you out there and saying, come on world, here I am. And I think also it's going to feel that perhaps there are certain things that you've been working on which are now, about yourself and about who you are as a person, because that they're going to kind of come to some kind of resolution or completion. Because with all the big boys of Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter in your 12th house, you will have had quite a sort of a challenging few years with inner work, with inner psychological work. If you've worked with that consciously, then Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto will have been kind to you, because they really have wanted to encourage you to go within, transform, to become more of who you are, to know yourself inside out, and also to recognize what your shadow side is, the dark parts of you that only you know about. And so I think when the emphasis shifts next year to your first house, with both Saturn and Jupiter finally moving out of Capricorn and into your first house of Aquarius, you can really reap the benefits of any work you've done on who you are, of your personality, your whole psyche. So, and we have to remember that this has been offset by everything that's gone off or been going on in your 6th house Cancer, because it's been this Capricorn Cancer 12th 6th for you axis, which has been so emphasized through the last few years and been quite tough going. And it's been tough going for all the signs because, you know, we don't often get these big boys all bunched together, and we can see it's been quite tough for the world. So Mercury is in your 6th house, which is about, it can be everyday work, it can be service to others, it can also be health. And I think with Mercury retrograde there, you've probably had to, maybe you've had to have some medical appointments that just kind of have put your mind to rest about health issues that have been niggling away. And I think with Mercury direct now, you can move on and feel that you can, you know, finally kind of get some kind of handle on any niggling health issues that you have. And Mercury, of course, is going to be moving into your 7th house of Leo on the 6th. And so, and then on the 19th, we have a new moon in Leo. So this moves and shifts the emphasis onto your 1st house and your 7th house, which I think is really super nice, because with all these planets in your 7th house, the Sun, the new moon, and Mercury, it's not going to stay there very long actually, because then it moves into Virgo. It's quick at the moment, but I think it's going to be like a breath of fresh air for your significant relationships, and where you may have gone through some quite tough times through the sort of the COVID era, or at least the first COVID era, you can enjoy a little bit more quality time with your significant relationship or relationships, and that's going to be good for both of you. And we need to also look at Uranus in your 4th house, because Uranus is going to be and has been in your 4th house for over a year now, and it's going to be there for a good few years. So it's really going to give you a chance to make any changes that you want to do with where you live, with your home, even if it's just changes within the home. And you might surprise people with what you ultimately decide to do, you know, because Uranus, we never really quite know what's going to be expected of, you know, what's going to come up with Uranus around, because it is a planet of the unexpected and of surprises. So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds for you. I also think there's something about, because Uranus is going retrograde on the 15th in Taurus, in your 4th house, and I just have this sense that there could be something from the past. It's like, you know, finding out about ancestors and something your maybe great-great-grandparents did. So, or maybe sort of once through these ancestry DNA sites, you get contacted by a long-lost relative. So, all in all, you've got an interesting month, Aquarius. I think as long as you continue to pay attention to your inner world as much as you do to the external, it'll be a lighter, brighter month, and actually quite fun. So for now, Aquarius, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to join me for this video, and I would like to wish you well for the month of August. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, I'd be super thrilled if you could do that. Also, if you would like a one-to-one with me for astrology or life coaching, or both, then you can contact me via my website, which is just in the little window underneath this video. Thank you so much, Aquarius, and I wish you a lovely month. Bye for now. Hey Pisces, welcome to your August astrology for the Sun in Pisces or for the Ascendant in Pisces. Well, let's start by looking at what's going on in your 12th house, which is very much about the inner you, your private self, the parts of you that can sometimes feel restricted and remote. And it's an Aquarius house for you, and we have a lovely full moon on the 3rd of August in your 12th house. Now, I think that's going to be really good for you, Pisces. It's going to make you feel that you can actually come out into the light a bit more and shine. I think you're going to feel that you've had enough of being reclusive and being kind of remote and distant, and you're going to want to be seen more. And it brings in the energy of your 6th house of work and of health issues, of service to others, and it's a Leo house for you. And so the 12th and the 6th, which are Aquarius and Leo for you, are going to be emphasized this month, because we also have a new moon in Leo on the 19th of August, and also Mercury, who's been through his retrograde phase, which I think caused the whole world a little bit of a slowdown and, kind of chaos. But anyway, Mercury's going direct, and he's actually going to be moving into your 6th house on the 6th of August. So he's going to speed things up for you to do with work. There's going to be a lot of communication. But make the most of the time between the 6th and the 21st, because then Mercury will move into Virgo. So it's like between the 6th and 21st, the emphasis is going to be on work and communication, getting things done. You've got this super new moon there on the 19th, so it's new opportunities to do with work. And on the, as I said, on the 21st, Mercury moves into your 7th house of significant relationships. And then I think the focus is going to be much more on your significant other and, maybe having some more quality time together and discussing things that have just had to be kind of shelved for a while because it's just been too busy for you, Pisces. And let's also look at, of course, your 11th and 5th house, because they have seen the major activity during the last sort of 2 to 3 years, because you've had the big boys, Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter, all in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, of groups of people, of sort of just the extended world in general. And, Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto are retrograde now. And so I think it's giving you a chance to perhaps reconnect with some situations and people and groups that have been sort of taken out of your sphere because of what we've all been going through in the world this year. And it brings in the energy also, of course, of the 5th house, which is Cancer. And you will have had this new moon in Cancer on the 20th of July, which brought in a sort of breath of fresh air for you, Pisces. Now, let's also look at Uranus, that's in your 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house for you is Taurus, and Uranus is in Taurus and is going to be in Taurus and in your 3rd house for several years. So make the most of this very innovative, exciting energy whilst it's in your 3rd house. Are you thinking of writing a book, Pisces? Maybe something quite innovative and unusual and unexpected for what a Pisces might think of doing. Or you may be learning something new, Pisces, because the 3rd house can be about learning. It could also be teaching. So you could be teaching something, Pisces. But it's going to be innovative. It's going to be interesting. Also, excuse me, Venus has been in your 4th house of home in Gemini, and she has been helping you make your home far more livable in, far more comfortable, and much more a place where you feel when you shut the door, you come home, you are home. And Venus is going to be moving into your sort of 5th house of creativity, children, and also love affairs, romance. And she's moving into Cancer on the 8th, so that's into your 5th house. So she's going to be bringing some lovely energy into creativity. I think you're going to be feeling much more, feeling much better about yourself and attractive, and feel that you are attracting others to you. And I think if you balance yourself, Pisces, so that you don't actually get yourself too overwhelmed with things, so that you get yourself into overwhelm and meltdown, then August can be a much calmer and lighter and brighter and happier month. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd be super thrilled if you could do that, Pisces. If you would also like to have a one-to-one session with me for astrology or life coaching, or both, my website address is just in the description box underneath this video. And I wish you a lovely August, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now. Hey guys, I just wanted to add this little kind of epilogue at the end of this month's videos to say, first of all, thank you so much for those of you that are following me and giving me great support. It's really appreciated. And to just explain a little bit about who I am and where I'm from, because I've actually been doing astrology for 30 years, but only just recently decided to sort of come out into the light with it. And that's probably courtesy of Uranus on my midheaven, Uranus transiting. And my history is that I was a psychotherapist and trained as a psychotherapist in the UK and worked for 25 years before I moved to where I live now, which is Malta, the islands of Malta. And astrology has always been part of my life alongside that. And it was only very recently that I decided to change my website and kind of, I suppose, upcycle myself, and to call myself, finally, an astrologer and life coach, as I felt it covered all the areas of experience that I'm familiar with. And why I wanted to say this was because for a long time I have followed lots of other of the brilliant astrologers that provide amazing content on YouTube, and to them I say thank you very much. They are brilliant, and I had no idea the work that goes into producing these videos, and that's really what prompted me to do this little short addition at the end of this month's videos, because just to let you know that for this month's videos for August, I'm actually doing them in July. So today is actually July the 18th, and it's a Saturday. And it's taken me 3 days to do this particular set of videos. I do them all individually. It's incredibly hard work, and you also have to remember so many other things like background, waving leaves. Because I live in Malta, it's incredibly hot, it's midsummer, and so I have a fan to just keep me cool, which of course doesn't do a great job for the sound. And so I've also got 4 cats, and every now and then they'll whiz through and kind of sort of, I come out with expletives and have to stop and start again. So it's interesting how it's not just about the astrology, and it's been a huge learning curve for me. And there are several astrologers that I'm personally have connected with through YouTube who have great followings and have been hugely supportive to me, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because they've given me guidance and and sort of heads up on the best way to kind of produce these videos. And I suppose also what I want to say is that it's not just so much about the fact that, you know, we're all astrologers are reading the same map. And we all probably give slightly different interpretations and content. And that doesn't mean it's right or wrong with one particular astrologer. It's just that we all have our own unique interpretation, intuitive interpretation of what we feel is going to unfold for the month ahead. And how some of these astrologers do not only do just monthly horoscopes, but they do weekly horoscopes for all the signs. I do the full moon and the new moon, but I usually do them via Facebook and then bring them onto YouTube. So I just thought it would be interesting for you to know. I actually also have a fabulous tech guy who will be very shy if I mention his name, so I won't. And he's a Cancerian, very sensitive, and he pays incredible attention to the detail. I couldn't do all of this, edit it, put it all together, and then upload it to YouTube without his help. And that's probably what's always stopped me in the past, and why I've never done this a few years ago, because it's an enormous amount of work that you have to do. And so I just want to say, you know, that because I appreciate so much what other astrologers do and content providers, and it's an incredible world and incredibly rewarding. And so for me, I just want to say thank you. I just wanted to explain that. You know, these content providers are amazing, and thank you to the people that helped me, and they'll probably watch this and they know who they are, because I've got a lovely lady who's helping me do the promotion and the publicity. I've got my tech guy, as I call him, and some super astrologer friends and some super personal friends, and to all of you, I just thank you so much. So thank you for watching this month's videos, and I will see you next month, but on Monday, when this is going to be launched on Monday evening with the new moon in July, so August videos are going out then, but I will be doing a live on Facebook, which will be on YouTube a bit later, for the new moon in Cancer on Monday. So for now, thanks so much. Bye.